and to not just say no,
Thursday, the 16th of May, 2024.
To hell with your request, and to hell with House rules, and to hell with decorum.
I don't know exactly
we're gonna
what his problem with
make a
Merrick Garland
mess
is, but
of
they've reached a bit where
the
Jim
rules
Jordan,
that have been followed by this committee and many other for years and years is just offensive.
Absolutely not leave.
I oppose
he ran
this.
Away. Okay.
I'm going to reluctantly, well, the gentlelady's amendment is
so they have proposed an amendment which is of an embarrassment to Jim Jordan.
The way in which
what they're trying to do is highlight the hypocrisy, the two-facedness, and the irony that Jim Jordan doesn't want some particular materials released of himself. Well, I'll let Jerry Nadler pick the.
Thank the gentleman. I want to point out two things. One, the striking hypocrisy of the majority in opposing this amendment, which simply reveals some records, while demanding the release of an audio tape of information that's already been released by transcript. And we know that in the past, the chairman of this committee has doctored audio tapes to make them say what they didn't in fact say. This amendment points this out. And I would also point out that even if the quotes are taken out of this amendment, which has happened, and whether or not this amendment passes, which it should, but in any event, this is all now on the public record, so you can't accomplish anything because it's out there. The hypocrisy, the dishonesty of the chairman is out there, revealed in the text of this amendment, whether it passes or not. And with that, I'll yield to Mr. Ivey.
Thank you, Mr. Ranking Member. I just want to point out a couple of things. One is, with respect to the specifics here, in the footnotes, it's clearly public information. Footnote 5 is Jim Jordan's Twitter account. So it's not like we made this public. That was already made public by the chairman. Footnote number 2 is the letter from the Department of Justice. Footnote number 3 is an article from the Associated Press. So let's not get over the top here and start complaining about, deeply secret or confidential information that's out there. But I do want to say this too, and, to my colleague from Virginia, there's 115 plus transcripts from interviews that this committee's done that this committee's refused to disclose and make public. So we should do that. I mean, I hear all the statements today about, the public's right to know and we need the information. Let's put it. Let's do it. Put the information out, put out the 115. And then with respect to my colleague, I'll say this too, because this goes specifically to the conversation we had at our last hearing, where I requested email communications between House Republican majority and the departments and agencies that we keep dragging in to produce documents. I moved to request the information. That wasn't agreed to at the time. So, this is not my time to yield, but look, if you want to get upset about her making a statement, my colleague from Pennsylvania, where it's public information, I think that's incorrect. And to say you're offended by it, I think is kind of over the line. But if we want to turn the page as a committee and you all want to disclose this information, make it public, by all means, let's do it. And I yield back to the gentleman from New York.
I'll yield back.
Anybody seek recognition? Gentleman from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield to the gentlelady from Pennsylvania, Ms. Dean.
Thank you. I very much appreciate it. I wanted to tell the rest of the story that is public knowledge about what happened as a result of these misleading narratives. Ms. Jankowicz, after these misleading narratives were spread about her, she received tens of thousands of death threats. You talk about decency and decorum, a manipulated video. You talk about decency and decorum here. My goodness. She had to go to court to obtain restraining order against the individual who had harassed her and repeatedly doxed her family. She was 8 months pregnant while strangers online called her a Nazi and told her that she should die. And she had to attend her prenatal appointments in disguise to avoid being recognized and harassed on the street. When a reporter reached out to Chairman well, I'll skip that part. Ms. Jankowicz encountered a staffer responding that Ms. Jankowicz was on the board's public face and should thus be held accountable in public. As you see, I'm taking out Mr. Jordan's role in any of this because he doesn't want anything to be known about his role in this, and I really want to honor that. In August of 2020, the current House Majority Leader shared an edited video that changed the words of a disabled activist and spliced clips together to falsely portray President Biden appearing to support defunding all the police, even though Biden has specifically said that the reforms being discussed were not the same as getting rid of or defunding the police. I want to just say that it is strange to hear from the other side of the aisle that they're worried about decency or indecency. They're worried about decorum. Please take a look in the mirror at your own members, what they do to spread disinformation and lies, to confuse the public knowingly. To say that this somehow, Mr. Special Counsel's report was about competency is so shameful. You know that's not what it is about. You just don't like the results of the report. The results of the report being, we conclude that no criminal charges are warranted in this matter against President Biden. You don't like that. You wish you could have had it another way because your own candidate is rightly facing charges. With that, I do have one unanimous consent. I asked to enter into the record just so that we can be more complete because the majority doesn't want to reveal the transcript of their conversation with Ms. Jankowicz. This is public reporting. The article is a surreal experience. Former Biden disinfo chief details harassment. It is from March 8th of last year, and it is Politico.
Without objection.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. And members of this committee on the other side continue to repeat the falsehood that this hearing and this resolution is a part of an impeachment inquiry. Well, the last I heard about an impeachment inquiry by this do-nothing Congress after having spent $20 million in this committee investigating President Biden. The last I heard of an impeachment was by the chair of the other committee, the Oversight Committee, which has actually been the committee handling impeachment. And at that point, after they had President Biden's son in, Hunter, to testify and couldn't get anything out of him, the chair pretty much threw the towel in on, he threw in a white towel into the ring. And it was, gave up pretty much on impeachment. And now this committee is trying to drag it out of the garbage can and try to trick the American people into believing that this is a part of an impeachment inquiry. It is not. It's simply a expedition to try to make President Biden look bad in keeping with the report of Special Counsel Hur, who cleared President Biden, but nevertheless inserted some unnecessary and derogatory information in there that this committee has seized upon and continues to kick like a dead horse. And with that, I'll yield back.